Brilliance Audio.
The Hollywood Jinx by Sariah Wilson. Performed by Vivia Font. Jane? The barcode that was supposed to stick to the book was instead stuck to my finger. I shook my hand hard in an attempt to dislodge it. It didn't work. I yanked the sticker off and slapped it on the back of the library book before it could launch another attack. "What?" I asked, only half paying attention as I reached for another book and another barcode. I glanced up and stopped mid-movement. My 16-year-old assistant, Connie, looked shell-shocked. I wondered if something had happened to her beloved YA section. It was the entire reason she volunteered at the library. The ability to curate a collection of her favorite young adult authors was an opportunity she couldn't pass up. "Nick Haddon's publicist is on the phone? For you?" While I technically recognized the words she was saying as English, the order in which she'd said them made no sense. Nick Haddon, television movie star, literally named as the most handsome man alive. His publicist was calling me? Why? My face went slack and my expression probably mirrored Connie's. This had to be some kind of prank, right? But not many pranks happened in our small town of Patience, Ohio. My very pregnant sister-in-law, Gretchen, had been lying on a couch near the circulation desk fanning herself. She'd overheard us, and her fan went still as her eyes grew wide. "If I could leap to my feet in triumph, I would," she told me. I was still trying to process the fact that Nick Haddon's publicist was on the phone. "It worked. I told you it would. You know how much I love being right. And I was so right." My brain started to fit all the puzzle pieces together. Auditors from the governor's office had shut down our entire local government due to embezzlement and fraud being committed by the mayor, Wilfred Newcastle, and he'd emptied the city's bank accounts. The library system operated on the county's budget rather than the city's, so that made the librarian the most senior city employee, as the library was the only branch of the government still open. That meant the librarian had to step up and take charge of the Fall Harvest Festival, which couldn't move forward without a city employee to officially oversee everything. And the only chance to refill the city's coffers and reopen the government was through raising money from the festival. That librarian was my mom. She had just taken over the festival planning when my father had a heart attack. I came home to help and ended up being drafted into taking over her job and the festival. I had zero experience doing either one. Fortunately, although sometimes it felt unfortunate, I had a very active team of volunteers to help. Mostly former city employees hoping that the profit made from the festival would reopen the government and give them back their jobs once the investigation ended. Gretchen had been the head of the tourism department. I repeatedly reminded her that she was the only person in the department, but that didn't seem to matter to her. She would have helped me regardless of her former job because, in addition to being my sister-in-law, she'd also been my best friend since we were 5 years old. To give credit where it was due, Gretchen was the one with the big ideas, which included making a video inviting Nick Haddon to come and visit Patience in time for the festival. The video had gone viral. I was particularly proud of the music I'd written for it, but the other embarrassing things she made us do, including dressing up as Greek gods/goddesses in honor of Nick's most famous TV show, those were things I never wanted to speak of ever again. She'd managed to get #I'mPatience4Nick trending on every social media platform. My mom had pointed out that it technically didn't make grammatical sense, but nobody seemed to care. I'd told Gretchen that Nick Haddon would never see it, as any reasonable person would assume. Now Connie was telling me that Nick's publicist was calling. I glanced down at the phone in front of me, and line 2 was blinking alongside line 1. Line 1 was Mr. Schmidt, calling in with his weekly list of books he thought should be banned, never due to content, solely because he didn't like the covers, and line 2 was Nick Haddon's publicist.